There were some revelations in the Sun newspaper, 20 things you never knew about the Monty Python team. Did you know any of those 20 things?
Well, it was extraordinary, yes. I got the Sun. I don't normally get the Sun, but somebody, somebody thrust this in front of me. And it had all sorts of details about my private life that I'd never known before. I mean, for example, it said, I had a daughter called Samantha, which is not true. And it said that I drove a Citroen car, which I don't. I drive a Renault. And that I'd spent 3 years at the Royal College of Art painting 10-foot red stripes on a piece of canvas. And then it's quoted me, and it said, "I don't know why I did it," said Terry, "it was a complete waste of time." Well, none of which is true. I was never at the Royal College of Art, or any College of Art after that.
But you got your own back, didn't you?
Oh, yes, well, I just happened, I was writing a column for The Guardian at the time, for the Young Guardian, and so I wrote 20 things you didn't know about the editor of The Sun. The editor of The Sun wears his pyjama trousers over his head, and his 12 daughters all called Spot. Oh,
that is true as it happens. Extraordinary.
Oh, is it really?
I have been reading your fairy story book to my children for some time, and they love them. Beautiful illustrations as well.
Forman, yeah.
And they're funny and they're scary. But now comes what? Curse of the Vampire Socks. Sounds gruesome. There it is. Good heavens,
by chance, I was here. Yes, Curse of the Vampire Socks, yes.
Well, is it a horror book?
No, it's a book of doggerel, actually, sort of verses and things like that. Somebody at Penguin Puffin Book said, "Why don't you do some verse and things for children?" So I suddenly thought I'd always wanted to do poetry. I mean, I have to confess, ever since about 7, I was a poet, really. And I think the first thing I ever wrote was called, from my own experience it was, at age 7, I think I wrote Prairie Fires, was the first poem I ever wrote. And it went on like that, so usually pretty depressing things. So anyway, then I gave up when I was about 17 because nobody ever read them.
Well, don't quote Prairie Fires, but read a bit of that one.
Of this, well, the name of Frank Carew McGraw was notorious in the West, not as the fastest on the draw, but because he only wore a vest. Yes, just a vest and nothing more. Through the wild and woolly West, they knew the name of Frank McGraw because he only wore a vest. Oh, his nether parts swung wild and free as he wore a vest and nothing else, oh, except a cowboy hat. Yes, naked from the waist he rode, he did not give 2 hoots. Frank McGraw in hat and vest, oh, and a pair of boots. But nothing else, no, not a stitch, as through the cactus he rode on his horse, although, of course, he did protect his knee with leather leggings. But that's all. No wonder that his name was infamous throughout the West and spoken of with shame. Actually, he did wear pants on Sunday, and it's true he also wore them other days, and sometimes he wore 2. Often in an overcoat. You'd see him riding by, but as he went, men shook their heads and ladies winked their eye, for everyone knew Frank McGraw throughout the old Wild West, not because he broke the law, but because he only wore a vest.
Interesting technique there, the climax at the beginning.
Yes, well, it did tail away rather, didn't it? I swallowed my voice a bit, though.
Did your own father invent stories?
No, he didn't really. Actually, I didn't really meet my dad until I was about 4 and a half, because he was away in the war fighting. I was born in 1942. I actually remember going to meet him at the station in Colwyn Bay, and sort of going up the steps of Colwyn Bay station and seeing this sort of people coming off the train, and then my mother getting a bit worried, you know, and then suddenly there's this man at the end of the platform with a kit bag and a, you know, Air Force uniform.
Looking heroic.
Well, not really. Had a little moustache, like that very prickly moustache that I didn't like.
What about Hitler, then?
Mm-hmm. He did. As a matter of fact, he did. I just learned to whistle the day before, you know, and I was so excited, you know, and I can whistle. That's the first thing I wanted to tell him, you know. Couldn't do it.
Were you a jokey child?
I suppose I must have been, actually. I can remember my first joke, actually, Michael, which was before my dad came home, so it must have been when I was 2 or 3 or something. I think I couldn't talk, as far as I remember, but it was, we were all sitting around the tea table in Colwyn Bay, and my grandmother said, would I like some more custard? You know, it was the kind of thing we ate in those days, you know, nothing else, just custard. And I thought as a joke, I'd pass my mat up, you see what happened. And of course, my grandmother sort of takes the mat and pours the custard over it. I'm sort of thrilled with this. And of course, instead of everybody laughing, they all said, "What did you do that for, you stupid boy?" Shit down the ear hole. So I gave up jokes, I think, after that.
It's amazing how you rediscovered it, isn't it, really? Now, Barry, you're married to a writer, aren't you? And she specialises in
Historical novels. Got one coming out next month.
I didn't know that, so that's...
No, he didn't. He didn't know that.
It's called Curse of the Vampire Socks?
No, it's not.
No, that's the other one. Yes.
It's called The Daughter of Lear, L-I-R.
All right. Now, you, Terry, of course, are married to a biochemist.
Yes, she's well, she's a botanist, really. Alison's a botanist.
Is that
She's a
easier
doctor.
to understand? Do you have...
Well, I don't. I mean, Alison sometimes tries to tell... She works as a research scientist in Imperial College, and she works in photosynthesis, which means she sort of finds out how plants and leaves turn the sun's light into actual energy that makes them grow, because we can't do it. I keep lying out in the sun and it doesn't make me grow at all. Well, not now, anyway. Very fine. I try to understand. Sometimes she tells me what she's been doing, and we actually always end up fighting because I can't understand it, And so we sort of agreed not to sort of discuss what we do anymore. So I don't tell her what she does and what I do.
Does she know what you do?
Well, I think she thinks I sell ladies' underwear. But wait till the film comes out.
She's seen you in drag, of course, quite often.
No, I don't think she watches too much. She's busy watching the plants grow.